Good morning to everyone joining. We'll just give it a minute and wait for a few more people to join before we get started. Good morning, everyone. All right. Good morning and welcome to today's webinar. Before we get started, I'm just going to run through a few things on our end. So please note this webinar will be recorded and all attendees will be muted throughout the webinar. And to ask any questions, please use the Q&A facility at the bottom of your screen. And when the webinar ends, you'll be directed to complete a short survey for us. This will take less than a minute to complete and your feedback will be anonymous. And if you've dialed as a guest today, you can view more information about becoming a member and having access to more events like this at www.sapusers.org/register. And if you have any questions, please contact us at support@sapusers.org. I'll hand over to Sean now. He'll take you through a little overview.
Thank you, Toby. Sab, are you okay to bring up our slides? There we go. So firstly, thank you everybody for taking the time to join the call this morning for our Fall in Love with Integration Suite webinar for pre-Valentine's Day. I know there's nothing a lot of us find more romantic than speaking about PIPO migrations to Integration Suite. So hopefully this helps set the mood. Firstly, if you guys can follow the instructions on the screen now, this is going to be an interactive session. So if you can go to menti.com and use the code 86455274 to join, you'll get the chance to interact throughout the session. So I'll just give you guys a little bit of time to do that just before we move on to make a quick introduction. Worth saying as well, if you do have any questions throughout, please do use a chat and we'll do our best to answer them, but we will have times for interaction via Menti as well. Cool. Sab, do you want to make a start?
Yeah.
So just to introduce, well, ourselves really, I'm Sean Burney. I'm going to be your host for today. I'm the Business Development Manager for Bluestonex for the UK and Ireland, and I'm joined today by two of our integration specialists, Sab and Yash. You guys want to say hello?
Sure. Thanks, Sean. Hi, everyone. This is Sab. I'm a BTP architect and integration manager at Bluestonex Consulting. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Yash. I'm one of the integration consultants here at Bluestonex, mainly working with the integration suite. Thank you.
Good. So firstly, a little bit of a pre-warning. We will have some poor Valentine's puns throughout, so try not to cringe too hard. I'm seeing a few messages in the chat as well, by the way, about the Menti. Our team will look at that in the back. If we are having issues, we'll just use the Q&A facility. So yeah, the agenda for today, firstly, an introduction to the company and who Bluestonex are, for those that don't know. We're going to take you through the love story of integration, finding the right match, overcoming relationship challenges, and taking you from an on-premise relationship to a cloud marriage. And we'll have a Q&A session at the end as well. So firstly, a little bit about Bluestonex. I know there'll be some of you guys that are attending today that know Bluestonex very well. There'll be some of you that maybe don't. So I'll keep it brief for an overview, but if anybody wants to hear a little bit more after, please do reach out. So Bluestonex is an SAP partner. We specialize in BTP, in the business technology platform. And as much as we're here today to speak about integration, it's worth pointing out that we cover every pillar of BTP, including data analytics, automation, AI, app development, and of course, integration as well. Our head office is in the UK, but we've got offices in Poland, India, and work with some exciting clients throughout. We're also, the way we're quite unique is we're one of only 2 SAP App House partners within the UK. If you don't know about the SAP App House, it's an exclusive partner network that focus on co-innovation and human-centered design. And it really does put us in a unique position to help clients with their SAP strategy through unique methods we use, such as the likes of SAP Serious Play, the BTP Diamond game, and things like that. So we'd love to tell you more about that as well, but that's a little bit about us as a company. Also worth pointing out, we develop products and applications, and we've got our own suite of products ourselves, including things like a ticketing system, a visitor entry system, an HR management system. But our leading product is a master data management and governance solution, Maestro, which is a fantastic product, especially at the moment with the messaging around keeping your core clean and getting your data ready for AI. MDM's a really exciting topic at the moment, so that's our leading product we've got as well. So that's a little bit about the company, and as I say, feel free to reach out if you want to hear in a bit more depth. Before I hand over to the guys to go into the integration topic, I just wanted to give you a bit of a feel of some of the fantastic customers that we work with already. I'm sure there'll be a couple of names that you recognize here. The couple that jump out at me with regards to integration would be RS and Watches of Switzerland, and more as well. If you'd like to see a bit more about the specific projects we've done, we've got some fantastic case studies on our website. There really is a lot there, so feel free to have a look at that or reach out for more detail. So for our first heart-to-heart, and apologies for the Valentine's joke now, if we are having issues with a Menti, we'll just use the chat. But how would you describe your current integration setup? What's a general feeling? Is it a dream? Is it a nightmare? And yeah, how are you feeling about it? So if we get some responses in the chat or on the Menti, that would be great. Okay, non-existent. Okay. See if we can get a couple more. %. It's interesting seeing these because obviously doing my job, we have conversations with people at every stage of their integration journey. Some people have got it exactly how they want it, but a lot of people are looking to improve. So hopefully there'll be a lot in this session for you over the next slides. So thank you very much for your responses there. Definitely some interesting ones. Now I'll pass you over to Sab to take you through the love story of SAP integration with business.
Thank you. Thanks, Sean. Thanks for warning the audience as well around our cringy Valentine themed.
We've definitely got a few coming.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's look at the love story of how it all started for SAP around integration and where we are right now. So as every love story starts with a spark, the spark for SAP was with the launch of Business Connectors back in 1999. The release of Business Connectors has now started seamless communication between SAP systems and the third-party systems. That's the first step within the integration for SAP. And in just 3 years down the line, SAP did release Exchange Infrastructure, which made the relationship a little bit more stronger. And the release of XI brought in structured messaging and routing to the table, and it also made feel the business to see the beautification of centralized integration hub. And in a couple of years' time after that, SAP did release process integration, which made the relationship a bit more deeper. And this was one of the flagships of products for integration, which a lot of customers, probably a lot of you in the call would be using as well. The release of PI in 2004 a lot of people do debate that it's just rename of XI, but it's not just that. It's a bit more than that, because SAP did release advanced adapters and also brought in the concept of scalability to the integration platform. And in 2011, SAP released process orchestration, which is more of an add-on to or an embedded solution to PI. Hence why you would hear a lot of people still call it SAP PI as a combined system, where PI being the core integration tool, and PO brought in the advanced features like business process management or optimizing your complex workflows. And between 2011 and 2020, I would say with the rise of cloud technologies and the release of cloud platform and BTP, in 2015, we did have a cloud platform integration, and it reached its whole pinnacle by 2020 with the launch of Integration Suite, which is what we are going to hear a lot more in today's webinar. And we also have one more big deadline that's coming up just in a couple of years down the line. We will hear more about what it is, and what as a business or as participants, you would want to be conscious about this deadline in by the end of this webinar. So stay tuned for that. In this slide, let's look at a typical family of how a typical family of integration would look like. On the left and right hand sides, you see different type of systems which you can connect using Integration Suite. So the systems could be cloud solutions like SuccessFactors, Ariba, or an SAP Cloud for Customer. It can be any non-SAP systems, or an on-premise or out cloud SAP system, or it can even be a responsive application, right? So how you can connect these systems is using one of these adapters here. Like SAP do have standard adapters like SOAP, OData, SFTP for file transfer, HTTP and HTTPS for the internet communications, and JDBC for database. We also have some specific SAP specific adapters like IDOC, RFC, and SuccessFactors. And in the center of the screen, you see us. Now I would put it in a way it's a children of Integration Suite probably. So you have multiple different services like API management, cloud integration, event mesh. So back in until when it was cloud integration, before the release of Integration Suite, SAP did have each one of these as separate services within BTP. But by 2020, they've clubbed and gave it as a bundle service so that the business can benefit out of all of these features within Integration Suite. So we'll get in more detail about each one of these services in further slides. So what are the capabilities of Integration Suite, and why you have to specifically look at BTP when there are multiple other middlewares out there? So in terms of capabilities, we've seen there are multiple different services that does its own it brings its own benefits to the business, like integration flows, which is most commonly used among them all for connecting multiple different systems, and API management if you want to expose your data securely to the external world, or if you also wanted to add in monetization concept to your data, if you want to expose your data to the external world. Event-driven architecture for real-time communication and sort of pub-sub model, they would say, where you can just publish once and then multiple different systems can subscribe to the data. And monitoring and analytics capabilities, of course, Integration Suite do have pre-built or inbuilt monitoring capabilities. And again, Integration Suite does cope up with all the security compliances like GDPR, HIPAA, etc. But why specifically BTPIS when there are multiple other middlewares, multiple other cloud middlewares as well? Because it does come with 1800 plus pre-built connectors, which means you can just get going from the day one. And it also has rich set of connectivities, which you've seen in the earlier slide. And the main reason why we've started this whole session with the love story of integration is just to tell you, the commitment that SAP is putting towards this platform, where they've started, and how the platform have evolved over the period, as it is today. And unified platform, of course, a lot of our customers do have a hybrid approach of ecosystem where they have cloud solutions, on-premise solutions. So you can just have Integration Suite as a unified platform as a middleware to connect whatever ecosystem you are with. And last but not least, SAP also make use of the power of artificial intelligence to simplify the process and simplify the development of integrations. With that, I will hand it over to Yash, who will talk you through about finding the right match.
Thanks, Saab. So how can you find the right match for you or your business? Well, let's start with a client example. So we had an urgent integration requirement from the Watches of Switzerland group, who are a global luxury retailer, and they needed to connect their point of sale and their ECC system with a third-party insurance supplier, and all under 2 weeks. So we were able to design, develop, test, and deploy the changes within this time frame, mainly because of Integration Suite's features. So it has an easy to use UI with drag and drop features, which make it even easier to get going. Here you can see a typical iFlow on the right of your screen. Left to right, you have source and target. Multiple systems can be there. And you have your processing all in the middle. It has feature-packed debugging and testing tools, which meant quick and efficient testing for us. And the result of that was when we actually did go live, there were minimal defects. It's future-proof and scalable by default. So once they move to S4, which is their plan, the interface can be easily adapted to fit their new landscape. But the main thing for them really was that it enabled them to access new markets in a reduced time. And now, just now, they're seeing the benefits of that. And not just commercially, but they now have a strategy that they can reuse for any other markets that they're targeting. So that's where Integration Suite will help you deliver value to you and your business. And that was a client use case, but what about something that we've been working on? So here you can see something that we've been working on. It's the integration between our MDM solution Maestro and Microsoft Teams, allowing a user to do common Microsoft common tasks directly from within their Teams window. So firstly, we evaluated our landscape and we identified the tools that we need. So obviously SAP Integration Suite, Microsoft Copilot Studio, Microsoft Power Platform, and all of these tools are mainly low code, which makes it easier to get started and get into the thick of it. We identified the key challenges. The main one was that adding the same functionality as SAP into Teams is quite hard, given Teams' fairly limited development capability. We also prioritized and tried to find the right use case with the immediate impact for business users. So 1 million companies use Teams and 400,000 plus use SAP in some form or another. So clearly there's quite a big market for this kind of integration. And we focused on agility and scalability because we used pre-built SAP OData connector from Microsoft Power Platform, and we connected to existing OData services, which means that we're able to even develop quicker because there was very little development in the backend side. So if I may, I'd like to show you just a quick demo of this integration in action. So here you can see that it's a Teams window that I've just made bigger just so it's easier to see. And the user can interact with this bot either by typing in the chat or by clicking on each button. So it's really easy to use. It uses intelligent routing, so it's AI enabled in some form or another, which means that it can select the most appropriate stage and also skip any questions if it thinks that I've got enough info, I don't need to ask the person this question. Like I said, it leverages existing OData services. So all of the data you see being pulled back is being pulled back from an existing service in the backend. It uses custom adaptive cards, which help to tie the bot in with specific use cases. So for example, date pickers, drop-downs, input forms. And it adds immediate value to the user because instead of flicking through multiple screens, having to load up Maestro on a different browser window, for example, all they need to do is open up their chat in Teams, create a new request, and then it's ready to go. They just need to then message their approver and say, hey, I've created this new request. Please, can you go and approve? And then the approver just has to open the chat window and process it right then and there. So when you can do things like this with integration, that's where Integration Suite can develop and deliver value for you, is you're able to connect your systems that you wouldn't have thought in the past would be able to be connected. So what are the key steps that you can use to identify the correct use case for you and your business? Well, we recommend, firstly, evaluate your landscape, identify the SAP, non-SAP systems. Are they on-prem? Are they cloud-based, or are they a hybrid? Because having a clear picture of the landscape will help you understand where best to actually start. If there's any legacy systems that you can decommission, because there's little value in integrating a system that will be obsolete in the near future, then you should assess your pain points. So what are the current users or clients complaining about? What processes could be improved or automated to add the most value to the business? Then you should try and prioritize them by impact. So choose the wins where you'll get the maximum return on investment in the minimum time. When it comes to the actual development, you should focus on agility. So leverage pre-built integrations and connectors where you can. Start with the Business Accelerator Hub to find and adapt pre-built integrations. So somebody else has already done the work. You just have to bring it in, adapt it slightly to your personal landscape, and you're ready to go. You should take into account any future migrations. So will you be moving to S/4HANA soon? Things like that. You should involve stakeholders from the initial stages, because this is often overlooked, because integration is sometimes a bit of an afterthought because you don't see it in your day-to-day job. It's something that's just working away in the background, somewhere in the middle. And having that executive buy-in from early, it can mean that you can have better collaboration between teams that otherwise might have been in silos. And lastly, you should try and conduct a proof of concept. So you can use BTP Integration Suite's free trial for 90 days before it's converted to a full subscription. So you can use that time wisely to build multiple POCs. And if something works, it works. If it doesn't, you haven't spent a penny on it. And if that's given you something to think about, well, here's something more. Over to you, Sean.
Thank you very much. I'm aware I'm seeing some responses in the chat about issues with the Menti, so feel free to just respond in the chat if you are having issues. But for our next heart-to-heart, are you thinking of migrating from legacy middleware to Integration Suite? Are you currently at that stage? And for those in the chat that were asking about the code, it is just at the top there, but I will post it in just now. There we go, getting some good responses there. Interesting with yes and undecided. It's definitely an interesting time with the PIPO deadline coming up in 2027. A lot of people are. Now, good responses. Good to see. Thank you for the response. Sab, do you want to pull up the next slide?
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let's look at some of the common pain points now that we hear from a lot of our customers. Now, of course, there could be a lot more than this, but we have just listed down the top 6 pain points that we've commonly heard from a lot of our customers. Yeah, slow time to market is one of the big things. It is almost like keeping your date waiting. Make use of the pre-built contents that Integration Suite do provide, and you can just take all your integrations and your developments pretty quick to the market. And limited scalability, people who are on-premise would on-premise middleware systems could feel it a lot, especially in the growing demand of the current market. Scalability is one of the big terms, and of course, when it comes to middleware, there could be a lot of systems in the ecosystem, and the integration landscape could get complex with the evolving systems around your business. So yeah, these are some of the pain points that we think or like we've heard a lot from our customers. And let's look at how we can just address them. Obviously in this call today, I'm sure we'll have a combination of user types, which we've just given here, like sort of business leaderships, like CXOs and CTOs. For you guys, the main points, like the main pain points that you've come across would be cost. Whatever middleware you're choosing, whether that does it fit into your budget, or introducing change management, like putting a new middleware system in place. Will it answer all the pain points that the business have today, and mainly around future-proofing. Since it's a cloud solution, Integration Suite, is future-proofed for your business needs, and it can also meet up to the current trends. Mainly around IT, this is one of the things that we've personally felt it ourselves as well. Around skill gaps, we have seen a lot of our customers do approaches because of this reason, that they do not have the right skills in-house for them to move from their existing on-premise middleware system to a cloud solution. And monitoring and troubleshooting capabilities, of course, any middleware system should have a troubleshooting capability so that the developers can understand what the problems and address it quickly. Security and scalability, and as I said, like Integration Suite do come up with all the security compliances like GDPR and HIPAA, and it also has the security certificates. And all the communications do happen via TLS, and it's a secure platform. Mainly for the business users, real-time data and productivity would be one of the biggest concerns. Because if you have multiple different systems and you don't get the data from all those systems so that you can act faster, it's always a big pain. With EDA architecture, event-driven architecture, you can have real-time data from multiple different systems and you can act on it pretty quickly. So these are some of the opportunities that Integration Suite can deliver to individual user types that we have just tried putting here.
Thank you, Sad. So for our next heart-to-heart, does your organization have an integration strategy in place already? And to maybe expand that to what extent and how do you feel about it? So if we can get some more responses around, does your organization have an integration strategy? That'd be great to see. Or just yes, no, but feel free to expand in the chat as well. Okay, a bit of a mix there. Interesting, most people saying they have an integration strategy in place with the mixed feelings in the previous heart-to-heart. Good to see there's at least something in place. That's good. So should we go to the next one?
All right. So let's look at how you can elevate your relationship to the next level. As in, if you're on-premise PAPO today, this is mainly for customers who are on PAPO and they're looking at migrating to Integration Suite at some point in time, right? So as Sean said earlier, the next big milestone that we have seen, or the next big deadline that we have seen in the first slides there, by 2027, we do have end-of-life support for on-premise PAPO systems. And just in the last 3 months' time, after the recent UK cycle, we have heard multiple pre-sales calls. We have had a lot of customers approach us around migrating from PAPO to Integration Suite. But why should you look at migrating? Now, I'm sure your current PAPO system, like a current on-premise system, would have served you well over years. But not all traditional integration systems can keep up to the current trends. Be it cloud adoption or meeting the current modern business needs, scalability. So that's one of the big reasons why people are looking at migrating from PAPO to an Integration Suite. And it's not just about replacing your old tool with a new one, but it's also about reimagining how you want to do it so that you can just connect systems, data, and process seamlessly and effortlessly, right? With Integration Suite, you do have tools that are simple and intuitive, which means you can just pretty quickly develop things with the power of AI. You can just like literally type in I want to connect certain systems, and that gives you the base ready. So that, and then you can just add more on top of that with the other layers that you wanted to develop. And skills, as I said, like if you're on PAPO, Cloud Integration Suite is more of an advanced version and a sort of a lift and shift from your PAPO, which means you don't have to upskill hugely. People who have already worked on PAPO, I'm sure it should be pretty easier for them to work on Integration Suite as well. Part of Integration Suite, at least with the cloud integration flows, it is literally the mimic of PAPO, I would say. And you can also make use of all the BP automation elements that Integration Suite provides you. So you can just get going pretty faster. As we have also seen, Integration Suite also provides you pre-built content. If your landscape is with SAP Cloud solutions like SuccessFactors or Ariba, it does have pre-built content. So you can just activate it and then start using the power of Integration Suite straight away. And as Yash was touching upon, Integration Suite also provides you a 90-day of free tier, which means you don't, without any cost, businesses can try and use the Integration Suite, see the benefit of it, and then move towards using it full time. But why now? Like, of course, 2027 is a couple of years down the line, but 20 months is not that enough. Mainly looking at the complex integration scenarios you might have today. But yeah, so as like we hear a lot of our customers do reach out today, mainly because they wanted to avoid of late adoption. They don't want to delay the whole migration element to the end of life support. The main concerns around end of life support is at that point SAP would no longer provide technical support to the platform or any update to the security or even enhancements to the product. So yeah, hence why we hear a lot of our customers do reach out to us today and start looking at migrations. And one of the other reasons why you should start our recommendations for you to start earlier is we do have free tools like factory assessment or free tools like Figure and tool for Infor, which will help you extract the migration elements and then help you towards migrations. Those are free for now. We do not know how things would be when SAP do see a lot of traction, a lot of customers reaching out around the migrations from BAPO to Integration Suite at a later point. Yeah, so that is why we recommend you should start thinking about migrating from BAPO to Integration Suite right now.
Thank you, Saab. Definitely some interesting points there ahead of the 2027 deadline. I'm sure it'll creep up fast. So kind of leads us on to our next heart-to-heart. So when are you planning on migrating to Integration Suite? So if we can see some responses around that. Interesting variety there. I'm not surprised to see between 12 months and 2027 the most common response. So I think it won't creep up very quickly. Good to see. Saab, do you want to pull up the next slide? So yeah, we are coming up to the end of our session here. So firstly, thank you to Saab and Yash for talking through your parts. And thank you to all of our guests for staying with us this far. Now, I think one thing that has become clear throughout the session is no two people are at the same point with regards to PIPO migrations and Integration Suite. So we wanted to offer everybody on the call a free initial integration consultancy session. So that would give you a bit of a chance of a bit more of an in-depth chat with our specialists where we can give you some bespoke recommendations and hopefully a bit of guidance on your integration journey because we want to help people put the best foot forward with regards to their next steps. So we provide you with a report summarizing the best options for you and our recommendations for your organization. And as I say, that would be free of charge if anyone wants to arrange that initial session. So either scan the barcode on the screen there, which will take you to the integration section of our website, or contact us on inquiries@bluestonex.com, or reach out to any of us and we'll be happy to speak to you. Last thing to say is, as a business, we're going to be out and about over the next few months at quite a lot of events, but I thought I'd mention a couple of them. So on the 26th of March, if anyone's attending the BTP Innovation Day in London, we'll be exhibiting there. So we look forward to seeing you there. And on the 2nd of April, we'll also be at the UK ISOG event at the S4HANA Symposium in Newport. So please do keep an eye out for us there, and plenty more SAP events throughout the year. And do follow us on, as I say, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and more. So please do connect and speak to us going forward. We have a final heart-to-heart. And just if anyone has any topics they'd like to see us cover next, feel free to put them in the chat. We'll keep an eye on that. And any final questions as well at this point for us, that anything we may have missed or you'd like to see us expand upon, yeah, please do fire away. Thank you. There we go. We can assume we've covered everything perfectly then. So good to see the good feedback. Thank you very much. And as I say, if any of you guys want to discuss further and get a little bit of guidance, please do reach out to us.
Thank you, Sean. We'll just give it a minute, see if there is any questions that do come in.
Thanks, Toby.
Seems like you must have covered everything very well then.
Thanks.
All right. Well, if there's no questions that are coming in now, I just want to say thank you all for joining. Thank you, Sean, Yash, and Sab, for coming on as well. And we'll see you again soon. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a
Our
lot.
pleasure. Thank you, guys, and thank you everyone for joining.
Cheers.